I trust you were successful?
The slave trader is dead.
Yes, the birds brought word to me. War is a dirty business. Labor and soldiers seem to be in short supply. Killing that man has saved countless lives. You've no doubt deprived the Crusaders and Saracens of additional troops. These are dark days, when men's lives are valued in gold, and such small amounts at that.
He saw it differently. Claimed they were not slaves at all, that he was helping them.
Do you know how it is you can tell a man is mad?
They speak to air, claw themselves.
No. They are the ones who speak and act as if there is nothing wrong.
I don't understand.
Few are the men who would admit to evil. Always rationalized. Always explained.
So he lied.
I was not there, did not hear his words myself, but yes, if you speak truly, I think he was simply trying to excuse his deeds.
I saw them, though. The men and women who would be slaves. They were a strange sort. Old, mad, sick.
Weak, yes. What better way to make a soldier than to take a broken man and rebuild him? Give him all he's been denied, with the promise of more.
It seems a lot of work.
It is. But what you get in return is loyalty. Knowing what it was they stood to lose, such men would be loath to betray their savior.
An interesting theory.
See, there is still much I can teach you. Everyone deceives each other, themselves. Learn to pierce the veil and know that nothing is true. Go. It is time you continued with your work. Another rank is restored to you, as is a piece of your equipment. We'll speak again when the next has fallen.
Now you
that
know
Pierce
how
the
to
Veil
tackle.
reference.
Yeah, I need to pierce the veil and complain about something in my rock song. Yeah.
Shut up. I was gonna say, first of all, I wish this game had subtitles. Second of all,
I know. I'm hearing impaired. I was until they cleaned my ears out.
Second of all, I was gonna say, I think that let's playing a older Animal Crossing like City Folk is probably a better idea. Just because the newest one, even though I find it fun personally, it's mostly just decorating. And I know you in particular don't like just decorating.
Wait, am I supposed to like take something from the desk that I didn't do?
What would you have taken from the desk?
I don't know, sometimes you have to like walk up and press take this thing, and sometimes
Sometimes Al Mualim leaves his like giant dragon dildo on the desk.
That's true, and you have to like grab it and use it while he's gone, and then like put it back and hope he didn't notice.
Well, he would notice because it's all somewhere lubricated.
Or brown.
That too, yeah.
Oh, why?
Also
Wouldn't you wash
lubricated.
it?
What, Jill?
Wouldn't you wash it?
No, not at this time.
No, why would you wash it? It was from the era people when they didn't have toilet paper.
So in this era, they were so concerned about being gay because it would upset like Allah or God or whoever,
Yeah.
that they would go to lengths to be like, no, I will use this toy first, then you use the toy after me, directly after me, without washing it. Oh look, you're not gay, you didn't touch me.
Right.
You know, it's kind of
So-
like socks on method.
Well, I was going to say, can't they just leave their socks on?
Not
when
at
it's
this
not
time.
gay?
They didn't know about that.
They didn't have socks at this
Got it.
time period. But they did have butt lubricant, even though they didn't
What?
have toilet paper.
Oh,
How do you know this?
Because you
how do
guys
you know
mentioned
this?
that they had lubricant, but you guys also mentioned that they didn't have toilet paper.
wait, who mentioned toilet paper?
Nate.
I think you made all this up, Jill.
No, I didn't.
I think this is all in your head.
Joe, we're going to gaslight you.
No.
Wait, is this like down here? Is there a... No? Okay.
Baby, are you down?
Why do you randomly sing? Is that like a sign of your ineptitude, your mental weakness?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You need to define yourself through other people's work?
No, that was just me on a dating profile app asking questions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Going down on Al Mualim.
That would be amazing. I'd play that game. Would you guys play an Assassin's Creed dating sim?
Yes,
Yeah, I would.
I would too.
Only if everything's permitted.
Oh, no.
No, wait, I got a good idea for a stream at some point in the future that's just like a one-off stream.
Oh,
Okay.
It's the hidden Assassin's Creed game that Nate doesn't know about.
Oh, JFK Assassination Simulator? That one on PC?
I want to play that.
No, a different one that we
Oh,
discovered.
sorry.
There's an Assassin's Creed game?
Oh, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a side game?
Yeah,
I don't know if people would want to watch that though, Joe.
I think it's really cool.
What's the game?
I can't tell you.
Why?
It's a surprise.
Oh.
It's a secret.
Is it actually like a canon Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah.
No.
It's not canon?
No, it's
No,
canon.
It's not, Jill.
It's canon to me.
Okay. Whoa, alright. Well, there we go. You're going to open a can of worms here with the canon... what would you be? The cannon constable?
Concoctor.
The constable of cannon?
Constable of canon. Nate's like, if a fan made it up, then it's not canon.
Like, no one Sega hires a fan, Christian Whitehead, to make Sonic Mania. Nate, it's not canon because he started as a fan. He has to hate the property for it to be canon.
Can we talk about what a tragic last name Whitehead is?
Tragic or blessing?
Tragic.
It's not like white skin. It's literally white head, which basically just means zit.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot of
it-
people call Whiteheads zits.
I mean, I personally, when I hear whitehead, I just mean like perfect race. That's what I think
Oh,
of.
okay, that way. So what do you think of blackheads?
Am I gonna have to cut this?
No, they're just another type of zit.
Yeah, why is that? Why do they call it that? It's not black.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, people get blackheads on their nose and they're literal, like, tiny
Yeah,
little black dots
it's
you
like
have to pull
black.
out of your pores.
Oh.
Why are we talking about zits?
I pull them out of my pores, but then I make sure my pore is big enough so that someone can insert into it.
I used to have a ton of blackheads on my nose, by the way. I have the worst.
Wow! Did you ever tell them to get off your land, too?
I did. I had the worst acne ever as a kid, and then I used this stuff called Differin Gel. This is a shout out to Differin Gel, and my acne went away, and now I don't have acne anymore.
Are we in like a review of differing gel?
Actually, I think it was a pretty good thing. It had adapalene in it, and
What is adapalene?
and adapalene is this special stuff that previously only dermatologists could give you for bad acne.
Is this a commercial?
Yeah.
What is 9 out of 10
then-
dermatologists don't like this.
And then they put it in Differin Gel, and then I bought it from Walmart, and it worked. So
Dermatologists wish I was gay.
they do. Then when you get syphilis, they can treat your skin for it with mercury.
Epic. You know, I would just treat random stuff with mercury.
Me too,
If I
yeah.
was a doctor.
My
Oh, well, you got the measles? Ah, here's some mercury.
My favorite line from that time period of when they used to treat everything with mercury is when we were playing Sherlock Holmes, and that doctor said, like, a night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury.
I thought that was kind of funny, too.
It
was
was
an epic
really
line.
funny. Because it meant, like, you have sex and then you get
So,
syphilis.
I get what it means.
What's the joke?
And then you treat it with mercury.
You treat sex with mercury?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would treat sex with a bullet. If I find out somebody's having sex,
That makes sense.
done. Hey, the Washington Monument.
Oh, nice. Do you think Ivan the Terrible had mercury laced dildos?
Why do you call it mercury?
Yeah, why do
That's
you
what it's
call
called,
it?
mercury.
It's mercury.
Mercury.
Do you just do this on purpose?
This is how it's pronounced, mercury.
But like,
It's not.
I'm sorry, it's not mercury.
It is.
so
Mercury.
So you're
I'm
saying?
not kidding.
So you're saying that's how you want it to be pronounced because of how it's spelled?
It's pronounced mercury.
Mercury.
What are some of the other words that Nate pronounces like an idiot? I forget, but there's a bunch.
We'd have to go through them.
Yeah, like
Doesn't
don't
he
open
say
the
like
book.
grocery or something?
What?
Brokery? Is that even a word?
I don't
Instead
even-
of groceries, he
I've-
says groceries.
Actually,
I say
have heard
I
of
say
it.
grockery.
But that's a joke, right? You don't really think that's what it is, do you?
No, it's not grockery. It's grocery.
Okay, well, you're such an idiot. Who knows what you actually believe here? What's the other one that you always say? Like pud instead of put? I'm gonna put my butt up against the glass.
There was something else too that he said that we made fun of him for, and I can't remember, but I think it started with a P.
The one you always make fun of me for is nursery.
Yeah, that one.
Jeez,
That doesn't have
settle
a P.
down.
Nursery.
Yeah!
Like, okay.
Who calls it nursery? It doesn't
This
even have an
guy.
H in it.
Oh. Why do they have to show us the city? Like, hey, look, did you miss the
Well,
city?
hey.
Well, they
Actually,
were
if
showing
Nate
us
was
the
playing, he would.
birds so that people
Well,
with
we've-
bird fetishes could get off.
We've never seen Acre in this game, so they had to do a cutscene.
Cocker?
Yeah.
Nate, if you were playing, they would have shown you that right there, and you would have been like, where do I go? Do I go this way? Like,
Okay, what is this, like, pile-on Nate Day?
well, like when they showed you the scholars and they showed you exactly where they were, and you went the other way.
He started going towards the nursery.
I wasn't really paying attention, I guess. I was just in my own world.
Somebody the other day messaged me, and they were watching the Brotherhood part. They were like, "Did you actually get mad at Nate when he couldn't climb that window?" And I was like, "No, but come on, it was right there. Like, the window is right there. What's going on here?"
I mean, I was just trying to go from the window to the wall.
That was my rendition of that song.
Thank you, that was really nice.
It also sounded offensive.
How did it sound offensive? Who talks that way?
A lot of people talk that way, but I'm not going to say who they are.
Nate, say some more controversial words that you say wrong.
Nate, what are things that you want people to reveal on a first date? That's my question.
What are some things I want people... So
you already said if they're in a wheelchair, they have to tell you, or...
I mean, I just think out of courtesy.
Right. And you say, like... And it's just messed up, though, how you get to that, where you say things like, "Why wouldn't you tell me? Were you paralyzed with fear?" Like, why wouldn't you say anything?
But then he
I'm standing here waiting to hear more.
But then he pronounces wheelchair wrong, and he says wheel care.
Yeah, why wouldn't you tell me about your wheelchair? What? And then they leave him because they're like, "I'm not gonna date someone who can't even pronounce wheelchair."
Were you paralyzed?
They're like, "Maybe you belong here." Like, here, I brought you an extra.
Is nursery another word for special class?
Oh no, Jill.
Coming from someone who was in the special class?
Hey!
Yeah, Jill, that took it too far. Why am I fighting Robin Hood here on this?
Like, what is this?
I'm allowed to make special ed jokes because I was in special
That
ed
makes sense.
technically.
That makes sense.
Well, I have a disability, but like if I just start throwing around the R word, people will be like, "Oh, he hates anyone who has problems."
Well, how come black people are allowed to say the N word, but actual people with disabilities?
No, you
Yeah, why?
You could have stopped right
Why
there.
can't I say it?
Why are black people allowed to say the N word and I'm not?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm paralyzed too. They're like,
Come on.
wait a minute.
You know, if you look at it from a racist person perspective,
Mine, okay.
if black people are considered disabled
Well, I thought
in
you
the
were gonna say if
racist
they're considered
community,
Disabled.
how
They're
come,
not considered disabled. They're just a minority.
how come
Black
other
people are on the
disabled people can't say
spectrum.
the N-word?
The disabled spectrum.
Like, what is...
What is happening here?
What? That's what racist people think of black people. They think, they're disabled.
I don't think
because
they
not
think
the
they're
right
disabled.
color.
I think they just think they're lesser human.
Yeah, disabled.
Well, okay. If they even think they're human, but yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, disabled.
Can I, like...
What? Why can't you go there? It's right there.
Except I still got there in 2 seconds. Unlike you, you'd be like, "Oh no!" And then you'd go to Game Facts and look up a guide or some
I
shit.
pull out my Discord and start talking to my kitten.
Oh, thank you.
It's like when you guys tell me that I'm a woman, so therefore I have a disability of being a woman.
I would never tell you that. I would.
Who says this, Jill?
Here, wait,
too.
wait. There's someone here. Oh, do I have to stick a seat next to these like two homeless?
Oh, look at
They were
that
large.
woman. Look at that woman.
Look how large they are.
There is no neck there.
No.
You hear about Elaine?
The archer who guards the eastern wing?
Poor bastard's brother caught an arrow in the throat. Doubt he'll last the night.
How can he continue to work knowing what's to come?
He visits his brother often, so I cover for him when I can.
You aren't there now.
No. I've family business of my own to attend to.
Then he'd best hope the doctor doesn't learn of his desertion.
He won't. Long as you stay silent.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
What did you think? I
That guy,
tried to
like-
push through them.
Yeah, that was rude.
That was rude.
What's with the Ubisoft and designing some really ugly-looking people in this game?
I don't know. That's why this game needs to be remade.
Yeah, have you noticed
Everyone needs to be hot.
in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, there's also some really ugly people that are just
Yeah.
like overly large for the time period. Like, I'm not saying fat people didn't exist, but I am saying that during this time period, a lot of times there wasn't enough food to go around. So it's kind of weird to see people who are really large wearing poor person clothes, because usually the larger people were rich.
So you're saying that fat people should not exist, is what you're getting at.
No, I'm saying in these games they get history wrong a little bit, because if there's if there's a fat person walking around, they would be wearing more like nobleman clothes because they have the money to actually afford food.
But what if the fat person was a nobleman, but they recently lost in the stock market? So they lost all their money, and now they're poor.
And now they have to
But
wear
they're
poor
still
person
fat.
clothes and lose weight?
But they're still fat.
Hello, my son. I am Moses. I recently gathered up the animals, and I'm awaiting the ark.
That was Noah.
Oh, sorry. That's right. Sometimes I forget. They're all the same. Bunch of old white guys.
You're right. Except for they weren't white.
No. I saw a picture of Jesus once, and he was white in it.
That makes sense.
That's what happened.
I also saw a picture of
Jesus.
Asian Jesus.
Did you? Hey, by the way, I have like a little bit of mental gymnastics I'd like to share with you.
Oh, okay.
So do you know how everyone now hates like Christianity, and they're always like, "Oh, Christian bad." Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can't make fun of any other religion. Yeah.
So here's my mental gymnastics I want to run by you. Who originally created Christianity? The Jews, right?
Oh, so they're anti-Semitic.
So anybody who's against Christianity, well, I've been told that if I don't like parts of Islam, because there are things in the Quran I really fundamentally disagree with and dislike, that means I hate anyone from the Middle East, because clearly all people in the Middle East believe Islam, and Islam is a race, not a religion, according to the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but it is, according to the internet. So therefore, if you don't agree with and like Christianity,
Aren't you
Sounds
just
like
being
you hate
mean
the
to everybody
Jews.
from Israel?
yeah, it sounds like you hate all Jewish people. And also, by the way, if you're not Zionist and don't support everything that the Israeli government does nowadays, you also hate Jewish people.
Makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
I love getting rid of subtlety and just being ridiculously disingenuous. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, it's great.
It is really fun, actually, but only when you do it on places that everybody agrees upon is correct to do it on, even though it shouldn't actually be correct in the first place.
I'm gonna take
But then
a
if
nap
you
here.
do the same exact thing on other things that they disagree with, you're evil.
Hey, look, I'm Jill if I've been awake for more than 3 hours. Taking a nap.
Why are you being mean to my sleep disorder?
Wait, what does he look like in there?
He's just crouching.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the weird thing with anti-Semitism is that it feels like everyone plays like weird mental gymnastics, that people only want to fight for Jews and fight for that culture when it's convenient for them to
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it seems like with other cultures and stuff like that, like even religions like Islam and other races and stuff like that, I kind of feel like a lot of people, yeah, well, they use it to look good, it's pretty consistent in the sense that, like, for the most part, people just don't want to be racist.
Yeah.
But with Jews specifically, I feel like it's the complete opposite. It's that everyone's fine promoting people who are anti-Semitic, you know, to places like Congress and stuff like that. I'm not going to name names who I'm thinking of. But then as soon as it's like not, or as soon as it's convenient, they want to instantly proclaim themselves as like, well, I'm anti-Semitic.
I'm going to.
Or I'm not anti-Semitic, I mean.
A little bird told me you'd be paying a visit.
Al-Muallim has ordered the execution of Garnier de Naplouse, and so here I am. What can you tell me about him?
He is the Grand Master of the Knights Hospitaller, and surely keeps his quarters in their district. Beyond that, I cannot say. I suggest you search the city. See what you can learn from the people.
Tell me where they gather, and I'll see what I can find.
The public gardens north of here, or what's left of them, are as good a place as any to begin. There's an abandoned market northwest as well that merits watching. And Maria of Jehoshaphat's church to the west remains a popular meeting place. These 3 locations should be sufficient for your needs.
I appreciate the information, Rafiq. It will be put to good use.
See that it is.
Hey, look, oh, wait, I can't do it anymore. I'll show you next time, but I was going to say,
Al-Muallim is counting on you. Do not disappoint him. Be on your way.
I'll get back to it next time we're here. I'll show you what I was going to do. It's not
Shalom.
going to be funny if I just tell you right now. It probably won't be funny anyway.
Okay. Well,
So,
I'm waiting patiently.
Did you guys see me supporting Jewish people by saying shalom?
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think that guy was Jewish.
Thank
I think
you for
he's
being
just
an ally.
from the Middle East.
Oh,
Middle
but
Eastern
I
people are
thought
Jewish.
I thought all people from the Middle East had to either be Jewish or Muslim. and
No.
in
All
between.
people from the Middle East are of the Muslim race, according to Twitter.
Right.
Oh, Okay.
Do you think we're ever going to get back to where you can criticize that religion? Because I'm a little...
No, I don't think we are.
I'm itching to criticize it. I can't wait for when we can.
Wow.
Jeez,
I'm
like,
joking.
Well, I just think it's kind of dumb that, like... So I saw this clip from Sam Harris, who's an atheist. And while I don't agree with everything he says, I think he's an intelligent person.
Atheism good, so I'm listening.
And when he criticizes, like, Christianity, everyone's like, yeah. And when he criticized Judaism, people were like, yeah. But, like, in the last, like, 5 years, he's kind of been criticizing Islam. And people are like, he's a racist.
Wow.
And I'm like, where was this energy, you know, 5 years ago?
Well,
I mean, the dude has
yeah.
written entire books about how Christianity is hypocritical.
Why are the Islam people, like, untouchable now?
Well, you know, the funny thing that I've realized is that when it comes to social justice nowadays, everyone's all okay, let me rephrase that sentence. Everyone has always combined different groups of people into different categories. So then when you criticize one group of people, you're randomly other things too. Like, have you noticed that there's always, like, groups? Like for example, it's no longer just, like, black people. Now it's black people are involved in the LGBTQ community. I'm like, why?
Well, it's also
And
like...
it's also, like, black people and Native Americans with, like, the BIPOC stuff, and it's like, but
I never
why?
understood that, by the way.
Like, why are we combining groups? Like,
Yeah.
why can't it just be like, well, let's talk about the issues that black people go through, and let's talk about the issues that Native Americans go through, instead of being like, oh, you mean black indigenous people of color? And it's like, but why are we combining these groups? You know, it's the same thing with Islam and racism, is I feel like everyone's just wanting to combine groups. So now all of a sudden, if you insult Islam, you're now instantly insulting all Middle Eastern people.
Stupid.
And it's just like, but why are we combining these groups? Islam's a religion. I could be Islam. Or Muslim, I guess, is what the correct phrase would be. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't get it.
I had found it really stupid, by the way, when when all of the Black Lives Matter stuff was going on, and the rainbow flag then decided to start having black and brown on it, because I guess all black people are now, I guess, lumped in with all gay people, which is really weird and random, because if you're gonna have, like, even though I think all flags are kind of stupid for that stuff, if you're gonna have a flag for them, why wouldn't you just give them their own flag? Like, why do you have to lump them in with gay people?
Well,
like,
yeah.
What correlation do we have here?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's like we always gotta, like, lump everyone in with other groups. So then it's almost as if you insult, let's say...
This isn't
okay. This is gonna sound like a really weird thing and a really weird defense of racists. I'm not trying to defend them, but I'm saying, like, let's say that someone is legitimately racist. It's almost as if now we've lumped the categories in where it's like, yeah, they could hate, you know, people of other races, but now all of a sudden, now the criticism also gets lumped in of like, well, he's also homophobic. Because, like, for some reason, race or black people and LGBTQ people are now lumped together. It's almost as if we're, like, trying to add on criticisms to people when they don't belong, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's the mental gymnastics we were talking about.
Well, here's the problem, is that, like, the whole argument is that if you're gay... Okay, here's the argument, and it depends on where you live. I'm sure there's been a hate crime in Minnesota against gay people, but where we live, if you are gay or you are black, you are actually less likely to face criticism.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid of being racist, because we live in an extremely liberal state. Mm-hmm. Let me talk to this guy and then I will keep going.
If it isn't Altair, remember me? No? I learned my craft at the same time as you. Still no memories of me. Doesn't matter. Al-Mualim has charged me with a mission that I am honored to perform. I must test you. What a pleasure. I have hidden flags in this area. Find them and return to me. Be quick. It is such a shame that the old man insisted that I must help you if you succeed.
What's this guy got against us? Jeez.
I don't know, this guy thinks he's the Riddler. Like, settle down.
Like, what the heck?
I was gonna say, so their argument is this, and I'm not telling you I agree with it, I just want to present it. If you are gay, you are already treated badly. Or, like, you can face unjust criticism, hate crimes, blah, blah, blah. Hateful attitudes. True in some areas, absolutely. Far less true in others, in my opinion. Far less true in,
You
say...
missed a flag.
This one.
I did?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Right there.
Oh. Far less true in Minnesota, I would argue, than Texas.
Or Alabama.
Or Alabama. But still true to an extent. Now the argument they add on to that is, now if you're black, you also face those criticisms. Again, very true in some areas, not as true in others, but let's just say, okay, whatever, that's their argument. So, their argument is, now if you're both, clearly you will face more. And the problem is, it really depends on where you are, because people don't apply these arguments to places that they belong. So, like, something I've really seen is, we can't talk about the problems elsewhere, we need to solve the problems here. And it's like, why not both? Like, the world is very global now. I personally think it's a bigger deal that some, like, dumbass religious zealot in Iraq murders and castrates a gay man. Then I think it is a big deal that some stupid hick in Alabama, is that like a bad word?
No, because they're white.
Like redneck,
They're
whatever.
white. We don't care about
Now
them.
it's probably a bad word.
I don't know, whatever.
They're
Like,
white. We don't care
says,
about them.
I don't like those gay people. Like, I think that's not as big of a priority. Let's hear what this guy
I'm
has to say.
impressed. Not enough to change my mind about you, but since Al-Mualim commands, here is what I know about your next target. Garnier hides in the Hospitalier Fortress. Getting into the fortress will require cunning. That's all I have for you.
Thanks. Really
Nice.
helpful.
Wow.
But do you guys get what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not saying that the douchebag, like, ultra nationalist idiot who says, like, I hate all gay people, but isn't going to do anything about it, isn't, like, a societal problem, because I think that we shouldn't have, like, hateful attitudes about groups, unless you're, like, a pedophile, which somehow is, like, getting protected by certain people now. But I do think that it's less of a problem than, say, like, the religious zealot in the Middle East murdering gay people. And I think the problem is that, like, people, they're not willing to have those discussions because it's uncomfortable. Because after 9/11, what ended up happening was everybody hated all Muslim people for a long time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of hate crimes against, like, just normal old Middle Eastern people who weren't Islamic in the United States, and against Muslim people.
Now, because of that, we can't criticize them at all, ever.
Just like because of slavery and because of the actions that stupid white people and other people, including black, took back then, because there were a lot of black people who enabled slavery by selling their own people off from Africa, which no one wants to talk about, because they enabled that and white people enacted it. Now we can't criticize anything if it has to do with a black person without the idea of you must be racist coming up, because everyone's so defensive and they want to right the wrongs of history. But I'm sorry, you can't. You can't right them. It will never be right. It will never be okay that there were slaves. It will never be okay that there were, like, hate crimes committed against Middle Eastern people just because of 9/11.
And
Those things
black-
will never be okay. You can never fix them. And my point isn't, so why bother? But my point is, now treat people like people, and let's just be done with it.
Right.
What, Jill?
And black people weren't the only slaves ever.
No, they weren't. Actually, history, like, slavery was around in the Middle East far before that, with people that I guess you wouldn't really consider black. You just consider them Middle Eastern.
And nobody
Right.
ever shits on the Spanish, but the Spanish are the ones that brought the black people to America. They're the ones who made the deals with...
Some of them did. There were also a lot of people from the United Kingdom and other places.
Are you saying all
that's true.
Spanish people?
No, not all Spanish people.
You're saying that, like, because they're Latino, they're exempt from criticism. Except they're not. It's like only if they're... This is going to sound so mean, but just this is what people believe. They just won't say it. You're only exempt from criticism if you're Latino, if you're darker than a certain shade of skin.
Right.
If you look white, you're not exempt from criticism. I've seen people, like, go after countless people like on Twitter and stuff who are like Latino, and they'll be like, "You're white," and it's like, "No, I'm literally Latino." Well, you look white, and it's like, what do you mean by that?
Right.
Like, what if I said what if I went up to a Middle Eastern guy and I said, "Well, you look black." Like, okay, that's not okay. I can't do that.
Same thing with Bruno Mars. He looked too white to say the N-word, even though he's part black. Remember?
I know, it was so stupid. Do I have to sit down to do this?
I think you have to.
Oh,
yeah, or
This
this.
dealt with now. The ropes are eaten through with rot and must be replaced. If we wait any longer, we risk an accident.
I understand, but what of the houses I'm supposed to repair?
Never mind the citizens. What do they do anyway but cry and complain? It's the knights who sacrifice that the rest of us might live in peace.
But they've nowhere to go, and the rains will come soon.
I won't warn you again, boy. Do as you're told or you'll find yourself in irons.
Yes, sire.
First, sensible words out of your mouth. You've got the plans now. Get to work.
I don't know, like, I know we sometimes talk about this stuff too much in certain Let's Plays, but my point was just more that I think there should be priorities to this stuff. Like, I think maybe we should solve, hey, how come in Egypt there's an issue of gang RAPE?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. That is an issue, and it's enabled, and, like, the government allows it.
No, you're racist if you bring that up.
You're right, I'm so sorry.
I
Well,
think
like,
all of these, like, rules about talking about races are so convoluted. Like, oh, if you're this color, you can't say the N-word. And if you're this color, you can't criticize this race.
It's back to the N-word there, Jill.
Well, I'm
You really want to
just...
say the N-word, don't you?
No, I'm just saying, I think that there's a lot of stupid rules about what race can do what and say what, and who can criticize who. And I think it's really convoluted and dumb, and people are too full of themselves.
It does dilute the... Is that the right word? Dilute?
Yes.
Dilute.
It does dilute the impact of the N-word, yes. Like when you're sitting around preaching, like, well, the N-word's so bad you can't say it. And then you turn around and say the N-word.
You guys have no idea how tired I am of hearing about it on the internet, but like every major rap artist being like, N-word, N-word, N-word every like 2 seconds in their song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's,
we can't say the N-word.
is this hateful or is it not? Oh, we're reclaiming it. Why not just make a new word that never meant something bad that means I'm proud to be black?
Right.
Why?
Well,
Like,
and
why
also-
not?
Well, and then you also get into the category, like you said with Bruno Mars, where it's like, well, this person's not black enough.
Or Kendrick, where he
Kendrick.
invites like some white girl on stage who's very clearly drunk and then gets mad when she says the word while singing the song when she's drunk.
Right.
And when he's the one who wrote the word into the song.
Yeah, it really
A lot of people make
really
their own
worsens.
bets.
Yeah, it really worsens the impact of
Let me
it.
just say something that I understand is insensitive, and I'm going to be honest with you, I do not care. Black people, a lot of them enable some of the bullshit around them because they're afraid to get involved. So, like, when you have communities, this is a huge thing in black communities, like, even black people talk about it. When you have, like, inner city gangs and other people aren't willing to stand up to them because they're scared, then, of course, the white people in surrounding neighborhoods are going to be scared of you and not help you. Just like when you have Islam and you know your neighbor killed some gay kid and you're like, well, I would never do it, but, like, it says in the Quran, like, that's bad, and he's Muslim too, so I shouldn't say anything. You know what I mean? It's like all these people who think, like, they need to be quiet, and, like, I don't want to get in trouble, or, like, I don't want something to happen to me. There's so much cowardice in every group, just like white people have subtly enabled white supremacy forever. By being like, well, I'm not a white supremacist, but I see their point, or, like, but, you know, like, black people are scary. Oh, well, I'm not a white supremacist, but, like, you know, Margaret's nice to me. She can't be that bad. I'm not going to say anything. Like, all these people, they're like, oh, because I look like you or I share some similar little belief as you, I can't get involved and call you out for your bullshit.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And I think that kind of thing in... Oh, there's some citizen who needs help. I think that kind of thing in every race, in every religion, in every country, forever, has enabled bad behavior and horrible attitudes to continue to exist, you know, because people aren't willing to get involved and say something. It's the same thing with, like, Egypt. Like, I've been, I had to do, like, a research thing about some of the current events there. It was around the time that woman got gang assaulted by people, and they were cheering for her to get literally destroyed sexually. The crowd was. And one thing that I was reading about was that the government isn't really willing to do anything about it. And in fact, at times, at least at that time, there were people in the government and in the military who would use assault in order to get what they wanted and maintain power. And because of that, other people around them wouldn't step in and do anything because they didn't want anything to happen to their family or they didn't want anything to happen to them.
That is horrible.
So they would just be like, oh, well, that's not my problem. And that kind of thing forever has enabled like horrific acts to go on. I mean, I know it's like a very easy example to be like, well, look at World War II. But like, it really is. And if you don't want to go to that example for people enabling their government to do something horrible out of desperation or willingness to be ignorant, look at Russia. Look at everything that was going on there. Millions of people dying. You think no one knew about it? Mm-hmm. No. Tons of high up people in the government and the military knew that they were rolling into villages, murdering and mass burying the people. But none of them wanted to get involved because, like, what if something happens to me? It's, like, always out of, like, fear or ignorance that, like, people enable evil around them. And then when other people criticize it, they're bad. But here's the thing. If you're Muslim and you're going to allow your neighbor to commit a hate crime on somebody just because they're gay, your defense of, like, the Dubai defense of, well, it's our country, we can do whatever we want. I'm sorry, that's still a human rights violation. I don't give a fuck if it's your country. Mm-hmm. I don't care. And you know what? If you don't solve your own shit, eventually someone comes in and solves it for you. And the problem happens to be that America just has most of its shit to the point where, like, it's stable enough that it has a government and a military where it can come in and bully people. That's why America always gets involved when there's, like, things going on. Like, sometimes it's for self-benefit, like, oh, we want the oil. Other times it's like, you know what, I really just don't like how Syria is treating their people. Let's bomb that airstrip. Like with Trump. Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't really because there was a ton to be gained there politically. It was just, I'm really not feeling how they're treating their people. Like, did you notice they gassed their own people last week?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty fucked up.
Let's bomb their military. Why? We're not even involved in a war with them. Because we can. And so it's what I'm saying is, if you don't eventually solve your own shit and it gets bad enough, don't be surprised when some group of white people or black people or whoever comes in with guns and solves it for you. Because they will. You know, eventually people get tired of it.